Howdy, 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 my darling Gemini. How are you doing today? My name is SimplyVelca, and today, Gemini, we're going to be getting into your weekly tarot reading for December 2022, getting into your weekly tarot horoscope reading, Gemini. So if you do enjoy this tarot reading, just like in your astrology for your zodiac sign, check out your sun, moon, and your rising signs for when it comes to tarot readings on YouTube, because that's how you get the best understanding of what's happening in your life, is by catering the energy to your chart as well, Gemini. Let me know in the comments below how this tarot reading helps you out. All right, that's how I connect to you guys, is through the comments. And the best way to support me, Gemini, is just giving this video a like and subscribe. It's completely free to do, and I always really appreciate those who take that extra step to do it, because it does help me out quite a bit, Gemini. So let's just get right into your tarot reading today, Gemini. See what's happening for you. I'm going to tap into your current energy. I'm drawing the cards right now, which is looking pretty fabulous here. Overall, I see there's a little bit of imposter syndrome popping up for you, Gemini, huh, darling? So we have the Ace of Pentacles, Five of Pentacles, and then the Page of Wands coming in here for you, Gemini. So immediately to me, Gemini, and then we have the Devil in the back of the deck here. All right, Gemini. So immediately to me, I see this sense of where, Gemini, we are going to have to, and I feel like I even talked about this before for you, Gemini, maybe not, but it's like, I feel like it's really important for you, Gemini, to acknowledge your greatness. I feel like it's, I feel like you're going through imposter syndrome quite literally, where it's like, maybe you've watched other people and their success stories, maybe you've been seeing it on YouTube and stuff like that, and you're just like, man, like, I wish that was me. Or maybe someone's like, people going on in your lives, and you're just like, why are they not receiving their karma, right? You might be even frustrated, Gemini, being like, why is this person able to be successful or do whatever, right? And then you're sitting over here being like, what is wrong with me here, right? Even when it comes to relationships in your life, platonic, romantic, or family related here, Gemini, it feels as if like you feel like you always are like, it's like, do you understand like the middle child syndrome, Gemini, where it's like the middle child is notoriously known to always be like the rejected one, and people never give it the time of day. The best example I can kind of make of it is like, if you ever watched Family Guy, Gemini, and then there's Megan, the one with the cap, she's the middle child, I'm pretty sure, and then you'll see how she's treated by the rest of the family. That's kind of how I feel like you always feel like being, Gemini, or that you end up feeling like everyone treats you as, is like the Megan, where it's like, oh, like no one, like, I feel like you're everybody's friend, or everyone knows you, but like no one ever takes the time to actually get to know and connect to you. And I feel like you are just really craving a spark in a social way. You're craving like a spark where it's reminding you, Gemini, that you are worthy and that you are the full package there. And I feel like, unfortunately, there have been certain people that in your life, Gemini, that with that Five of Pentacles, that have made you feel this way, where you're just like, oh, I'm not good enough. Going into opportunities here as well, it feels as if like you don't feel like you're deserving of more, or maybe you're starting to psych yourself out, Gemini. That's why I kind of do see that as well, where you're sitting in this place of being like, maybe I'm not meant to be successful, or maybe the sense of where you want to go after certain opportunities, but you feel like you're not going to, like, you feel like you're not talented enough, beautiful enough, or what have you, to be able to secure the bag, right? It's like, for example, maybe you always wanted to start a YouTube channel or write your own book or whatever your story is, Gemini, but then you, on some level, convince yourself, being like, or maybe you've been going at it for a while and you just like haven't quite yet found that the opportunity hasn't found you yet, Gemini. For one, it's coming, right? Pages represents new energy, Gemini, so it's stepping forward in your life, because I am tapping into your current energy with this spread. So I'm not just saying it just to say it, but it's like, keep with the faith, Gemini. Your opportunity that's going to be very profitable is going to be coming in soon. I also get this sense for you, Gemini, if you have been waiting for like an answer to something, if you stuck out your neck to, with an application somewhere, put your resume in somewhere, applied for a competition or something like that, like I'm being shown like a green check mark of like approval. Maybe you're thinking about trying to get approval for a house or a loan or something like that. Like, I don't know where that's coming from, Gemini. Obviously I do it intuitively, but take it with a grain of salt if you want. Right, I do feel like some positive news is going to be coming in here, and so just don't psych yourself out right now, Gemini. I get like this sense of where you're feeling just really tired, and you're wondering when it's like your turn, right? You're wondering, it's not that you're feeling entitled or feeling selfish or anything, but you're just like, come on now, like, what do I need to do as Gemini to catch a break? And now when I think about it, I wasn't even thinking about it with the middle child syndrome and who I was talking to, right? I always feel like I need to like gas up my Geminis more, because it's such a pop culture, like new age generation thing to just always like talk mess about a Gemini, when really Geminis have done nothing. And so it's like the cool thing to hate on a Gemini. And so I feel feel like it's kind of interesting to me, Gemini, where it's like I feel like you're going to be proving so many people wrong in the coming days. So let's start tapping into this all deeper, Gemini. We have the Justice card, the King of Swords coming in here, Four of Wands, and the Hierophant here. I'm going to show you these cards in a moment, Gemini, so don't worry, darling. All right, so what your story is going to be looking like here. So here are the cards, Gemini. All right, so first things first, Gemini, I want you to stop compromising for other people. I want you to stop psyching yourself out. All right, it feels to me where it's like there's certain people that you really have wanted to be part of your life in some way. You know, it's like that one family member or like that one friend that you care about and you love deeply, and I feel like you have self-sacrificed so much, or you know, it's like you've been able to really overlook their flaws, or you try to overlook their flaws, or what have you, because you care about them so much here. All right, Gemini, that's something I want to be clocking you first and foremost and being like, you need to stop it. All right, because you know, I feel like it's really important for you to be setting some firm boundaries with people in your life, because I don't feel like you're going to be losing anybody necessarily, Gemini, but I do feel like on some level you need to set some boundaries with certain people in your life where it's like you love them, but it's like how they've been continuously behaving, and how like every time you interact with them, it's like they always need money, they always have like, they always want to use you with the as like an emotional support and a shoulder to cry on, Gemini, while you're just, you know, you never get to actually spend time with them. They never ask you how you are doing, Gemini, right? And I feel like for you, it's really important at this time to really set the standard. You know, there's a quote that I love that says, Gemini, is like, we are constantly teaching other people how to treat us. All right. And I feel like you need to remind yourself of that, where it's like, everyone that we interact with on our day-to-day life, we are teaching them what is okay and what is not okay, to how to speak to us, how to act towards us, and so on and so forth here. And so I really want you to start owning your stuff more, Gemini. All right, first and foremost. All right, I love seeing this Justice card coming in here, because this is, you know, I think I even said earlier, Gemini, where you might have been asking yourself the question, being like, all right, when is it my turn, right? You know, why is this person, how has this person been able to get away with so much and not gotten their karma yet? And while you're sitting over here, like being as good of a person as you can be, Gemini, and like you're not having the success story as like this other person. You're not having like all the celebrations that you might be seeing on like social media, Gemini, right? From other people, when you know for a fact that like they don't deserve what it is that, you know, what's going on with their lives, for whatever their reasoning is here, Gemini. All right, what I want to be saying for you is like, your turn is absolutely coming. The scales are going to be balancing into your favor here in more than one way. All right, again, my regulars, Gemini, can vouch for me in that I really don't like talking about other people in my readings. I always like to just keep it with just you and I, right, darling? Because I don't want to mess with like the dramas and the third party energies and all that, because they're irrelevant. They're not the one I'm talking to, right? I'm talking to you. But in this type of sense here, Gemini, you know, with the Justice card, like this, you know, justice always finds its way. The scales are, you know, the scales of justice are always going to balance itself out here, Gemini. And what I'm getting here is like the sense of where it's like you have really maintained your sense of maturity. You rose above, over certain people's dramas and their pettiness here, Gemini. You're going to be getting your reward there. Like I really do feel like you're going to be getting some strong satisfaction for like some divine justice of someone that has actively done you wrong, and maybe have even gone out of their way to try to like sabotage you or speak ill of your character, Gemini. I really do feel like they're going to be receiving their karma, even if the karma comes in the shape of you having your own beautiful success story. All right, that's something I intuitively feel here. So let's continue on here. You know, I don't want to tap into that energy for too much longer. What is currently in the works for you, Gemini? All right, so we have the Five of Wands in the reverse, the Two of Wands coming in here, and then the Chariot. So fabulous. So long-term plans are finally going to start speeding up for you, Gemini. All right, you know, you might have had like a 5-year plan, and you might or like a 1-year plan, or just like a plan in general, Gemini, and you're just like, all right, you know, it's been a while, and you're just like, you've been dealing with complication after complication there with that Five of Wands here. I feel like, you know, the slow pace is going to start picking up for you. Again, it's like the scales of justice are finally going to be balancing itself out for you, Gemini. And like, the long-term plans, the contracts that you've been hoping for, the business deals, whatever when you think about the Two of Wands, it's always something dealing with like the long term, what you're looking far out into the future towards. That's why you see in the illustration, Gemini, this usually it's a person that's either looking far out into the distance, or they have some type of globe or world in their hands, like this person does, representing like the big old future, and like the world is in their hands and they can do whatever, right? To see this Five of Wands in the reverse makes me really happy, because this is my least favorite card, Gemini. And so it's like whatever complications that has been slowing down the Chariot, right? It's like this Chariot is like you ordered Uber, right? So that's how I see this as, right? I always say the Chariot card is like the Uber service from the spiritual realm, right? And they're not going to send it to you unless you're in your right path there. It's like you put it in order on Uber, Postmates, or whatever for something like a blessing, and it hasn't been finding you for a long time, right? You've done like the rituals, you've done the manifestations, you've done the law of attraction, you've done the script writing, the vision board, you've done the whole thing, and then it's just like nothing has really happened from that, right? You put out offerings, you've done what you can, you've raised your vibe and what all of that, right? And there's nothing that's been happening. I promise you things are going to be speeding up here in the coming days for you, Gemini. All right, so keep the faith here. Don't succumb to other people's dramas and low vibrational energies there, because they're going to receive their justice. As I said beforehand, the scales of justice are always going to balance themselves out. So let's get into your oracle reading today, Gemini, and then I'll send you off on your way. Practicing gratitude, last quarter moon in Sagittarius. So I'm not going to sit here, I almost called you Sagittarius now. I'm not going to sit here, Gemini, and preach to you and being like, because I feel like that's just such a toxic positivity, annoying new age type of habit, where it's just like, you're going through something awful in your life and someone just sits there and be like, oh, you should just be grateful, starving kids in third world countries. It's like, girl, so I'm not going to sit here and talk about how you need to just keep your mindset in check, because a complete stranger on the internet, it's not going to affect you in that way, right? It's more so annoying to hear. But what I can be telling you here is that you're going to be having a reason to be grateful here. All right. And your animal oracle card is the otter spirit, number 42, equaling to 6 in numerology, which is also Libra's number. So write that number down. Maybe there's a message in Libra's reading as well, because you also got the Libra card being the Justice card. So if you do have strong Libra in your chart or dealing with a Libra, check out the Libra reading perhaps. But you are never alone, Gemini. You are never alone. So this to me is reading off as a direct sign where it's just like, yes, you might be feeling like the only child syndrome currently, and you don't have that support system or what have you, Gemini. But trust and believe. You might have even felt like you've been abandoned by your spiritual team, because you just have been sitting there. It's like, all right, spiritual team, like I understand spirit works on their own time here, but it's like I've been asking for some type of help, some type of blessing for months now, and it hasn't been happening. Remember, it's like that Chariot energy. Things are finally starting to shape up to where it's, these opportunities, these blessings from the spiritual realm are going to be finding you. So that's the weekly tarot reading that I have for you today, Gemini. Hopefully you enjoyed this tarot reading, and I'll connect to you sometime in the near future. Bye, darling Gemini.